Conservation Commission meeting, April 22nd, 2028. Happy birthday. Present are
Richard Manzo, Select Board Rep.
Ellen Miller.
Courtney Carter.
Patty Gale, Planning and Zoning Assistant.
Jean Walker.
Jane Raymond.
Andrew Chaplin.
Susan Tucker.
Daniel King.
And
Okay.
you
Oh, you gotta speak louder.
Daniel
and you
King.
have two
Thank you very
members.
much.
You can appoint both Courtney and Daniel because you have
Okay,
two
you
members
both,
not present.
Courtney and Daniel could vote, are voting members tonight. We have two people absent. And we have first on the agenda, Gerald Levin, 245 Bog Road, map 4, lot 38, is requesting a variance to replace a garage and foundation with a slab that will be built in the same location that is 3 feet from an existing stream. The property is split zone residential 1 and conservative. Recommendation is needed to be forwarded to the zoning board for adjustment. Would you like to come forward to? Thank you. Would you like to explain to us what you plan to do?
Well, the barn that's there, the garage has fallen into the brook. The snow took it down this winter.
Or snow melt even, right? I mean, once the melt comes in, the stream gets really.
Yeah, it was mostly weight though, you know? And
Oh,
I've been
weight
expecting
of
it.
snow.
And you're asking to replace in the same location? that-
Yeah, it's gotta go exactly in the same footprint for all intents and purposes, so. But I wanna, you know, take it down, put a new foundation in, and put another one up.
And put it back up again?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any questions on?
Well, I have a number of questions, but one is, if you're tearing the whole thing down, it would make sense to set it over away from the brook a little bit.
Can't do it because of the house. I have a little pathway between the garage and the house, and if I move that at all, I'd like to make it bigger. I'm only going 14 feet wide. I'd like to have 16, but I can't. It would just inhibit my access to my backyard from the driveway.
Well, it looks to me like you could move it back a little bit, you could move it over, you could make it bigger,
Well, if
because
you
there's quite a bit of patch there in this aerial photo, and it would get it away from the brook, and I'm wondering if the moisture and the overflow when the brook is bank full is part of what's caused the foundation to crumble.
well, it's been there a long time. I've been there 36 years, and it was there way before me. If you go out and look at it, you'll see. I barely have room to run a wheelbarrow between the house and the garage now, or a four-wheel. That's my access. I can't restrict that anymore.
You have no space between them?
No,
No, but why couldn't it go back a little bit and over a little bit? It could go back.
Anybody else have any?
Is there anything behind the garage? Like, what's behind?
no, I can set it back a few feet.
It'd still be next to the stream.
Yeah, it's not
But
gonna,
if you set it back and moved it in, away from the stream, I mean, if you're gonna start all over, it might make sense to get away from the water.
yeah, really, I wanna put it exactly where it is. And actually, having a full foundation's gonna help it, because I've had 200-year floods so far. And the
Did they
foundation,
flood your garage?
well, it washed out underneath the foundation.
I think that's a compelling reason to move it away from the brook.
You could, no. But he hasn't, you don't have much space to move it away.
I don't have that option really. If you go out and look at it, I don't.
Anybody else have a comment? Evelyn, did you? Oh. If anybody.
Yeah, that's the shoreline permit you're looking at.
Anybody else?
So, oh, yeah, go.
Go Andrew.
So it seemed like so you're saying it collapsed mostly from snow weight. The foundation itself looked fine.
It's still,
Yeah.
it's just a stone foundation, you know?
Yeah.
So I want concrete.
Sure. Okay.
It'll be like a concrete wall there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just checking, like, making sure the foundation wasn't what caused it to come down.
No.
It was a stone foundation?
It's got a, yeah, a little stone wall on one side, and then the slab that was in there was just poured on the ground, so it's heaved in the winter with the ice and stuff, you know?
Anybody else? Susan?
I think my only comment was it's going in the same location as it's been.
Right.
I guess that's all basically what we can ask.
I plan on doing it like in late August when there's no water in the brook also.
right.
So I don't know.
And
Right.
you had something there before, and now you're just trying to rebuild what you had
What
on the
you already
same
have.
footprint.
Exactly.
Well, Jane, it's grandfathered.
It's
No,
great.
no, I understand that. I have an additional question, and that is if in the 200-year floods, the stream bank eroded under the foundation, are you going to do something to prevent that from happening again?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna dig the old foundation right out and pour a 4-foot knee wall all the way around
Okay,
with drainage.
okay,
Drainage.
okay.
I do want to correct something, it's not grandfather, because once he removes the whole thing, it loses any grandfathering
Oh,
clause.
is that right?
That's why he has to go to the zoning board, because he's removing the whole
It
structure.
doesn't have to go back where it's shown on this map.
Oh, I guess I was thinking, so it does.
He wants to put the same
He wants it in the
location,
same
but
place.
once you remove the whole structure, including the foundation,
Then it's not
it's not
grandfathered.
grandfather.
Oh,
It's, if he was rebuilding on the same foundation, he might be able to have not have gone to the zoning board, but because the whole thing is being removed, he has to go. to
He needs a
zoning.
recommendation from us to go to the zoning board.
Well, then maybe he could explain, I'm sorry, now that I think it's, looking at the photo, can you tell the house, this is the garage, but what is this open space here that you, can you just, you wanna hold it up and then you can show people what we're talking, you're looking.
Okay,
No,
No, he's,
well, what do you,
Oh, well,
explain to
if you did move it, what,
Yeah.
we're asking, what is this property around here?
well, this is kind of the yard. You know, you can see how tight that is to the house there, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I could move it back a couple feet, but I have, you know, thousands of dollars in drainage around here too. And if I go back any further, I'm gonna get into my drainage that
your drainage.
yeah, tens of thousands of dollars worth of drainage.
And it lines up with your driveway and your car can go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can see how close they are. So,
Could always move the house.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. You could put the driveway on a different location. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do, but, I think that you're just asking for more problems. What if we get a couple more 200-year floods?
well, it'll be much better situated with a full foundation under it than what it's got.
Susan?
I would like to make a recommendation that we approve this plan and go forward.
You'd make a recommendation to the zoning
plan.
board.
To the zoning board.
Zoning board.
Yeah, so you're just making a recommendation to them, so you can make a recommendation that they grant the variance? Okay.
We have a second on that? Somebody want to
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
Did everyone vote in favor?
No,
I missed who voted
I
against.
voted against.
Did you vote against?
abstain.
All right, so one against, one abstain. Okay.
Okay.
So the zoning board will get the comments that they recommend granting the variance, because the majority vote was to recommend it. So we'll get that, so when you go to them on the 5th, so they'll have that when you go do your presentation before the zoning board.
Okay,
Okay?
very good.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you for coming in.
That's the 5th of May?
Yeah, and you're gonna get a notice in the mail, I'm doing them tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the times too, 7.
Have a good evening.
With corrections and acceptance of the minutes on February 25th. Accepted. Did you make a motion to accept the
No,
minutes?
I was just.
Oh, sorry. It was sad, Jen. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes and then open it up for controversy if I'm wrong. Did we check for grammar?
They're perfect, what are you talking about?
I would second
Do we
that
have a
motion.
second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait, can I stop?
Abstaining?
Can we stop? Can we not?
Abstaining?
Because my name is Andrew Chapman.
Okay.
I just saw it.
Did you find it? Did you find this, the spelling
There's
mistake?
Where
always
was
some
it?
random in there. So Andrew Chaplin Miller on the last page.
Oh,
Did we spell
so
Maine
yeah,
correctly
you
this time then?
hyphenated name now.
Yeah,
Okay, what page?
third
It's
one.
it's
Third.
adjournment.
Ah, okay,
Okay.
Gotta catch that one.
We,
with the correction, got it.
You don't have to know that, Dan, you're-
Not yet.
other than
So we're
that,
related?
I guess so. Hey,
Oh, all right.
okay, we have a request for
Did
money.
we all vote in favor with the correction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the, we need a vote for money for the milfoil for Nemaskus Lake. Our current budget is 6,000, we were cut some. And they estimating their treatment's gonna be 26,350. And the state will give them the 50%. So they need 13,175.
And I-
Obviously, we don't have anything near that amount of money, plus our budget is only 6,000. We don't want to cut that too low, so
I have a couple questions.
yes,
How much did we give them last year?
I think we gave them 5.
And how much did it end up costing? It didn't end up costing. When they put the estimate in last year, the end result was much lower.
No, they did spend.
They did spend their own money. They had to make
They,
up.
well, they did spend it, but the state actually gave them a little more.
They spent what.
And they had to come up with their own
They
funds too.
spent what we gave them.
Yeah.
Okay, but we need money for our dam fees and our registration of our commission
And postage,
and postage, and so,
and if something comes up.
and if something comes up.
And
You've already spent 1,000 and that's on your conservation dues.
Okay, so we're at
So
5,000.
there's no milfoil needed for Glen Lake?
They are not active
They're
anymore.
not asking for anything this year.
They're not active association
And
anymore.
they didn't do anything last year either, so this is their second year.
Are we gonna try and reactivate that somehow?
I don't know how you would do that, that was
Ask
a
the
private.
community?
We don't have anybody there that will.
She
do the-
tried,
Who, right, the persecution.
We should, but, so actually our budget is like 5,000.
So,
and this, I did email Amy Smagula from the state, and I have also let Michael Allen know from Namaski that our budget is only 6,000. So
Yeah.
I'm making them aware that they cannot get 13,000.
No.
from us.
From us.
No.
Or it would have to come from somewhere else, he'd have to approach the select board about it if they need funds beyond what we can get from the conservation
Would
budget.
3,000,
But that,
half of ours, be a reasonable amount?
yeah.
Which actually, maybe it should be 2,500.
Well,
Because we only have 5,000 left. at
you
this
no longer
point.
pay someone to transcribe the minutes, I'm doing them.
But maybe we will.
It's not in the budget. So your postage pretty much, and it's just if there's something else you wanted to do, you spent 1,000, but generally,
That will leave us 2,000 if we give them 3.
It would leave us 2,000 if we gave them 3. And that's not very much.
No.
That,
But
What
what
about
is,
2,500?
what do we need it for? Yeah.
Well, we have to, there's the dam fees, right, for the Uncanonic
I don't
Mountain
know if we
Dam.
pay those.
we don't pay, you guys don't pay
We
the
don't
dam
pay those
fees.
anymore, we don't pay those.
Okay.
Somebody does, but we don't.
David has a plan for like anything with stewardship this year. Do we need more signs or anything?
I think we shouldn't
Right,
spend
because
all
if
our money.
David does the
No, I don't
stewardship,
disagree with
we
that.
might need some money for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, he hasn't said anything to me about that, but you did,
What
the,
was the delta last year between our budget and what we get? You said we gave them 5,000 last year, but what was our budget?
10,000.
So we gave them 50%.
Yeah, but,
Right, so
but
that's.
we've given them a lot more at other times too.
I actually think you gave me
I
4.
would make
I
a
don't have the
motion
note
that we
from
give
last year.
2,500, and if, when they get ready to do the work and we find out that we could chip in an extra 500, we could do that. But I think we shouldn't
We won't have,
spend our budget down to,
that will leave us with 250.
Well,
yeah, that would leave us.
I agree with that.
That's not a bad approach to say
Yeah.
this is what we can give you now, and then we could reassess later on to
But
see
we
if we
don't-
have more left to
But
give
we don't
you.
have 13,000 anyway.
No.
No.
No,
That's what
So-
I'm starting.
and they don't do it, they'll start in the summer, they go out and they start, it
think
usually
that's- we don't-
concludes in the fall.
Now, this is again, is Manchester putting part of this in? Because Manchester owns part
I
of.
told them to approach Manchester last year, whether they
Okay.
did, I don't know.
Well,
Because one year they did get some money from Manchester.
oh, yeah,
I think that gives them half of what we have left.
That
Yeah.
half of
Yeah,
what
I
we
don't-
have left, which
yeah.
is at least,
and ours, that's pretty slim for us anyway,
right.
you know, so.
Um,
And it
And I was
that
told they
might give them
could,
some
he
incentive
could write
look
to the
for
select
other
board and
funds.
approach if they needed additional funds. That's an approach they could do, that's what Derek stated to
So-
me.
Okay, you made the motion?
I
Yes.
have another clarifying, I just don't, I just need history, so I don't, are they asking for this every year?
Yes,
Yes,
And then, in terms of invasives treatment,
yes.
I guess, are there other people asking for invasives help or invasives?
They were, no, Glen Lake, we were giving money to Glen Lake.
But not, I guess non-aquatic, is there any?
no.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
So what happened is they went forward, when milfoil was started, where it was such a, you know, it still's an issue, but when it was happening, where it was really, they were seeing a lot of it in the river, they did a warrant article and they brought it forward to be voted on at town meeting. And it has been in there, and then one past budget meeting, they decided to put it into the conservation budget and no longer have it as a warrant article. Well, the
Okay.
budget has been cut a couple times, and it has, or I should say hasn't passed, we went on default, so they had to allocate money elsewhere.
Okay.
So the conservation budget got decreased from 10,000 to now the 6,000.
And I think
Okay.
it was more than
And-
10,000 at one time.
The-
Yeah, you'll
the
lose a lot
Maskey-
larger.
Yeah.
20, right?
Yeah, it
And the
was like
Maskey
20
Lake,
people.
Representative Allen,
Yeah, yeah.
he told us, he made a presentation to the Conservation Commission.
Okay,
And he told us that the milfoil came as a result of the Mother's Day flood. It got washed in
Yeah,
from,
Scobie Pond
New Boston.
yes,
and Francistown, all the way through New
it
Boston.
got washed
Oh, I know
in.
exactly.
And
Went to school
so
there, knows that.
now we've got it.
yeah,
Everywhere.
yeah. And I guess part of the other question too is in the spectrum of invasives, I wasn't understanding why milfoil's getting everything.
Yeah,
And that's probably a bigger question about how to prioritize invasives management in the town, if that is even our purview, and maybe, again, another conversation for another day, so.
Well, we had a presentation by the Department of Public Works about their approach to the knotweed
Knotweed.
problem. And they have the pesticide applicator license, the DPW does. So they can treat the not the milfoil, what is that stuff?
Knotweed.
Knotweed, excuse me. They can treat the knotweed. But to treat the milfoil, it's a,
that has to be approved by the state.
State. They've had some divers do
And
it,
you
they
have
did a
to
treatment.
hire special divers to come in. and,
And
you know.
pull.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing too is that half of the residents, I think about half on Namaski belongs to Manchester. It's not a lake that's just Goffstown's lake too. And in
The only way to get into it is through Manchester.
right,
Well, yeah,
And-
but along Riverview Park is actually Goffstown.
Yeah,
That is Goffstown.
so it's,
Yes.
but,
Yeah.
in the past, Manchester actually seemed oblivious to the fact that they had this problem and that, so then we actually approached them, they then did contribute some, but I don't know if it happens,
oh, he told us that they had contributed.
they did.
They did.
contribute, But I don't know if it's a regular
I don't know
thing,
if
but
they,
you have to
I
kind
think
of get.
Manchester's got budget problems too.
I was gonna say, they probably aren't this year.
And
But
it's-
anyway.
The boat launch
So
is
the
in
boat-
Manchester.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's happened.
Okay.
And because there was a lot, and Glen Lake was really, had a lot of problems. And we were really concerned that the lake was gonna get choked, both lakes. So that's why we worked so hard on the milfoil in those places.
Gotcha, yeah,
And
that's,
Glen Lake, 2 years ago, was under control because she
Yeah.
said they didn't need treatments 2 years ago. But we have, there was an organization, private organizations, were doing it. and the one from Glen Lake has stopped.
Okay.
But
The
Namaski
Namaskis,
is still very
they're
active.
very active because so many of them have property with boats on that, and that lake is not very
Shallow.
deep. I
Very
think that
shallow.
12 feet might be the deepest place on that lake. And so it's,
It snags up all the motors and the
It's-
propellers. and-
does grow the milfoil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they do get a grant from the state.
yeah,
So they get a
Yeah.
50% matching grant, so that's why they come to the town to help
Yeah.
with the other part that they have to match.
so Jane has a,
I voted
a
that we,
motion.
I made a motion that we would have 2,500, which is half of our remaining budget, toward Namaski Lake milfoil treatment.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
Can I ask?
Susan? Oh.
She wanted to discuss, well, I'll second it and then go on,
Yeah,
and she'll have.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask on that is, do we want to add that second piece, which is that we could reassess it later on in the year to give them more if there's more money left in the budget, or just say 2,500 and,
Well, I
No,
think
say it.
Patty indicated to us that they have the ability to come to the selectmen.
Right,
Yeah.
okay,
yes.
They can ask for funds
And they
another
could,
way
I think,
too.
just leave it,
Or, I mean, and you, if you, later in the year, if we have extra money, you could always say,
Right.
you could allocate
But I
more.
think-
And it may be that they don't need it at all, because there are times they came in and then it wasn't as much
Yeah.
needed. This is just what they got for the quote.
this is
so we have a second on it, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay. Okay, I did get an email from David, and he said that Sho's property was finally with Forest Society last week. All the paperwork was
wow.
done and turned in.
Great.
He also said he was having a great time. So that, both of those are good.
Trains are cool.
Yeah.
Where is he off to?
He's in Utah.
Utah, hiking in Utah.
Ah.
Weather is great, and he's having a great time.
Oh, great.
And so, those are two good things. And we need to make a recommendation for Susan and Jane for conservation.
To be
Oh, to
reappointed.
be
Our terms are
reappointed
up.
as
You
conservation.
can deny us.
So we need a motion and we need a second.
I move that we recommend Jane and Susan to be members of the
Okay.
conservation.
For 3-year terms.
Oh, for 3-year term.
We need a second,
I will second that.
okay.
Oh,
All those
Andrew's
in-
holding out. Oh, boy.
I didn't say anything.
He's gonna,
He's right between us, we'll get it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You guys can't vote. Okay. We all, Patty says we also need to have it's time for a chairperson to be nominated
Ooh,
And vice chair.
and vice chair.
oh, wow. I'll nominate Jean again. She's done
Second.
such a good job.
I'll second it.
I second it.
Oh, God.
We need a vice
You guys are all in
chair.
the
We need a
Rock,
vice
paper,
chair.
Who's our vice?
Well, they gotta vote on this one first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andrew,
take-
I nominate Andrew.
Oh, boy.
Continue.
that's
as
great.
vice chair.
Me too.
Andrew.
I second that.
Okay.
one.
And Evelyn seconds, okay.
I'll
So
second
do
that.
a
Second.
group
Okay,
vote.
all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
vote
Opposed?
For you? Aye for you. Yeah. Abstain for me. Is that allowed?
Okay.
Sure.
Great.
I will,
Okay,
Fix that.
we're doing good.
What if I noticed a typo in the minutes
in the minutes,
that we approved like
Oh, she,
20
what are you
minutes
looking
ago?
over there?
As soon as I was like, oh no. Sherry's name is spelled like the dessert wine in the third paragraph on the first
that's why
page.
she had a weird spelling though.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't match up, is I guess what I'm saying,
The
where it was
original one.
I see it.
SHERRIE, but then down here it's,
Yeah, okay.
So I
It says
apologize.
Sherry.
I just
It's
thought
all
we're
right.
already being silly, it would be a good time to interject and
Yeah, no, I can add that
bring
to
that
it.
observation to light.
Okay, I think that's, we have the,
Well, want me to, I have to touch base on one of the items.
go ahead.
All right, well, first, the correspondence, the with shoreline permit, the one that you're all seeing on Elm Street, they're redoing the summer camp. They are not, didn't want to come in to go over the shoreline permit, but they will come in when they go to ZBA, because they'll need to, because they're within the inner 50 feet of the buffer.
Do we have permission to sidewalk that property?
Not right now, because they haven't signed anything, like, they
Okay.
haven't submitted an application or anything, so I can't say you can go onto their property.
No, well, I would be interested in doing a sidewalk if we,
Oh, if they came in, you can request to site walk it,
Alright.
you can definitely do that.
all right.
You want
You know.
kayak by with me and see what we can see?
I
Well,
mean,
it looks from the photos that there's a lot of bittersweet crawling all over. the
oh, wow.
place.
So that was one thing, and then you guys asked me where it says other business, Jane, you were asking about the property on Greer Road, map 5, lot 55. Remember they were disqualified for a forestry permit?
Yes,
So I talked to the state and they said what it is, this is old, this is last year in April. They applied for this permit, but they never gave them all the information they required, so they disqualified the permit. And
but
I
they
talked.
cut the trees anyway.
They did have an intent to cut, and so they followed their intent to cut, but they never followed through with what they needed for the state. And now they're done doing whatever it is they were doing.
Which one is this?
It's on Greer Road.
It's on Greer Road.
Oh, okay.
Piscataqua River Committee update.
Yeah, go ahead.
The committee went on a field trip to Exeter on the 16th, and it was to look at the Exeter had a dam removal, and it was a group of the committee, and they went to see what happened in Exeter. And I guess it was a very positive outcome. I haven't talked to people since they went to it. I was unable to go because I had a prior commitment, but,
I'm familiar with this. It's really, they've turned it into a big, beautiful park. I mean,
Right.
just really, really
Is this
attractive. You know, they don't just rip down the dam. I mean, I wasn't on the trip, but I've been very aware of what's been going on there because I have some friends in that area.
yeah.
And it's, you know, they really, the state, I think, helped out with coming up with a really good plan to,
It
Yes.
was enhancement
it's
of the
really very
area.
lovely.
Yeah.
Very, very, what they've done.
Where was the dam that they removed? Is that the one that separated the estuary?
It's right in the middle of Exeter.
Well, it's not in the, I mean, it's right close to the.
Upstream from downtown, right? As you
Yes.
kind of walk
Yes.
upstream.
Okay.
I think I've been where you're describing, they were having sort of an arts festival during the summer, a couple summers ago. And you can walk all along the river there.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize that had been sort of rewilded. It is
Right.
really nice through there,
It
yeah.
is, it's very,
Yeah.
it's been very tasteful,
And that's-
it's very nice.
Similar to what they're proposing for here.
Oh, okay. It is the dam I was thinking of.
Yeah, but good to know kind of what and how much help they got from the state. And
Yeah, I wasn't on that.
Well,
In
this
that
was,
project.
this was more of a viewing, to go
Yeah.
and see
Yeah,
what it looked like, and I was unable to go because I had a prior commitment.
Mhm.
But there was a field trip.
There was a field trip and people had positive reviews back to you.
Well, we haven't had a meeting, so we haven't,
Okay.
since then, it'll be next month.
Well, you might, oh, okay, I was gonna say you might contact somebody just to ask, how much support do they give to the town? Or
Well,
did you get any of that?
that'll all be, when we have our next meeting, someone will report back.
Yeah. I think that's kind of working the steps up, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay,
Hopefully relieve some of the
you have
anxiety
anything else
about
on the
town.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Do anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I will. Susan will. I'll second.
they're,
Let's go.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
We
the meeting is
usually
over.
have long